South Australia only has 4 regional rail lines, 3 are luxury trains and 1 only runs once a week. The last regular regional trains were sold off long ago, with government policies cutting services everywhere until its eventual death. However, in 1999, one man would make a last-ditch attempt to restore the network. South Australia only has 4 regional rail lines, 3 are luxury trains and 1 only runs once a week. These trains are the Indian Pacific, the Ghan and the Ghan Expedition stopping at Adelaide Parklands and Port Augusta, and the Overland stopping at Adelaide Parklands, Murray Bridge and Bordertown. Tailem Bend is a regional city southeast of Adelaide along the Melbourne-Adelaide corridor. It hasn't seen a passenger train since 1996, despite rapid expansion. Towns like these continue to choke the highway system of South Australia because if you can't get a bus, which can be very hard at times, then you're stuck with a car. I will now introduce you to Steve Moritz. All I can find about the man is this LinkedIn profile, which probably isn't the right one anyways. He was tightly connected to West Coast Railways, a company that was operating services between Melbourne and Warrnambool. They'd recently acquired several B-class locomotives from V-Line. One of these was standard gauge loco B80. But why? Well, Moritz needed it for a big project of his, the Murraylander. The Murraylander was his plan to restore regional rail services in South Australia from Adelaide Parklands to Tailem Bend, stopping at several stations along the way. Presumably. This is the point where actual concrete facts about the train get very hard to come by, so don't mind me if this gets a bit confusing. The year is 1998 and Moritz would set up a new corporation, the Australian Locomotive and Railway Carriage Company, a company to own the coaches for the Murraylander at a depot at Tailem Bend, founded by Moritz, Bob Bertrams and Bruce Roberts. This new company was abbreviated as ALARC, or as I'll call it for this video, ALARC. A joint venture was made by ALARC and the Victorian Railway Company, better known as West Coast Railway, to operate the Murraylander. A three-car red hen would be bought from the State Transit Authority of South Australia, but would be returned rather swiftly, ending up in the hands of the Port Dock Station Museum.
Started in the late 1990s. I was originally looking at some red hen rail cars which I'd bought from Trans-Adelaide and standardising them to get a tourist service between Adelaide and Murray Bridge running. Then a couple of friends said that they'd come in and join us if I got rid of the rail cars and went to locomotive-hauled carriages.
However, Red Hen Railcar Trailer number 870 would be bought on the 6th of July 1998 from the Port Dock Station Railway Museum with a transfer to Islington, then Tailem Bend. Moritz went out to the fleet previously operated by Australian National and bought up several wagons at a dirt cheap price. These coaches were, in chronological order, carbon steel Wegman coach, BRF 90, carbon steel Kinishayo built caravan HRGC 119 in February 1999, and ECA 118, carbon steel BA sitting cars BA 147, BA 148, BA 149, BR 150, and BA 151, bought later on in 1999. Tulloch built EF coaches EF 190, EF 192, EF 194, EF 195, EF 196, and EF 197, and ex-State Rail Authority RUB carriage stock coaches SDS 2271, SDS 2273, SDS 2278, SDS 2279, and SDS 2280. The rub stock carriages seem to just be bought for regular stock leasing purposes, as while all the other coaches will be refurbished greatly for the Murraylander, these will just be kept in their SRA paint. In 1999, Steve would also buy Red Hen Railcar 873 from Steam Ranger, however it would not be refurbished. The Murraylander also had coach BRB 86, however this wasn't owned by ALARC, instead it was owned by West Coast Railway. B80 has now been fully restored by West Coast Railways, and at this point it's just being used as a locomotive for lease by freight companies. It's the year 2000. The Murraylander train is all ready, so let's see how it's going infrastructure but... Oh, nothing. Well, it's probably just not ready yet. Anyways, a major achievement occurs on the 30th of May 2000, the first passenger train operated by ALARC, a school charter headed from Adelaide Parklands to Port Pirie Station and return. Coaches used on this train were BA150, BA151, BA148, BA147, BRF90 and HRGC 119. Also, carriage 606 has been bought from Steam Ranger, only for it to be immediately sold to Port Dock Station Museum in December. 2 new locomotives will be bought for the Murraylander. These are 900 classes 907 and 909. On the 6th of October 2000, HRGC 119 would be hired to Freight Australia for use as a crew car on the SCT service between Altona, Melbourne and Forestfield, Perth. In 2001, B80 could be seen going all over the country, acting as a loco for lease since the Murraylander still hasn't started, most notably running with ATN's grain services. Here it is seen working for SCT. Note that here at some time in March 2001, a West Coast Railway logo would be placed onto the sides. On the 11th of January 2001, carriage 606 would be transferred to Port Dock Station Museum. On the 30th of March 2001, ALARC would run another passenger service, this being a race train towards Broken Hill. This was the first service to be filmed on video, notably using a 700 class 703 loaned from Australia Southern Railway and some unpainted carriages still needing to be finished. In December 2001, HRGC 119 would be hired to Great Southern Railway for use on the Overland before being given back by 2002. In 2002, the Murraylander logos would return to B80 sides. Later on in 2002, West Coast Railway logos will be placed onto all sides of the loco. However, this didn't mean that the charters were dead. 2002 was the closest the Murraylander ever got to really operating. From the 11th to the 13th of October 2002, the Murraylander cars would run on a chartered service from Adelaide Parklands to Jamestown and return, being operated by Loco CLP14. On the 28th of October 2002, B80 and 2 power vans would be transferred on train 28T3 from Islington to Tailem Bend in preparation for the Salvation Army tours. The Salvation Army would join up with the Murraylander to operate a last-ditch recruitment run to try and get more jobs and advertise the services to business, the public, etc. It left Tailem Bend on the 29th of October, running all the way up to Whyalla and back over 4 days. The first day running to Adelaide, then to Whyalla, then back to Adelaide, then back to Tailem Bend. So, how did it go? Fail. 2003 is here, and the SDS coaches have been sold to the Lithgow State Mine Gully Railway Museum to operate the luxury service, the Ozback Explorer. I'll make a video on that eventually, it's pretty interesting. On the 15th of August 2003, several coaches and B80 will be transferred from Tailem Bend to Bolivar. This is the final time the Murraylander would really operate, and you'll see why very soon. In 2004, West Coast Railway was absorbed by V-Line, and all its coaches and locos would be sold off. B80 would be sold off to Chicago Freight Car Leasing Australia, being repainted around 2010 into the regular CFCLA livery, then being leased by Metro Trains Melbourne with a special livery applied on the 24th of July 2010. It would be returned to CFCLA in 2017 before being leased by Cube Logistics, which is who it operates for to this day. However, for the Murraylander coaches, they weren't owned by WCR.